in politics, philosophy, and culture. I don't know how often I'll be able to produce videos due to my various and sundry responsibilities, but since I have a day off today, by the way, happy Martin Luther King Day everyone, I will now dip my toe into production and see how it goes. I'd like to begin by classifying the three kinds of feminists. If you're outspoken regarding men's issues, as I am, you'll run into various kinds of social justice warriors, but feminists are the ones most in direct opposition to my beliefs in an egalitarian society where both genders enjoy equal rights and dignity. So they're the ones I'm most familiar with. I'll describe each type of feminist, how to recognize them, what to expect when dealing with them, and why, at the end of the day, it's pointless to engage into any meaningful debate with them. The first type of feminist is what I call the young liberal arts major. This breed of feminists are the youngest and most attractive of the feminists, and are usually given the spotlight despite their lack of qualifications or experience due to their physical attractiveness. Feminists hem and haw about patriarchy and objectification, but it's all bullshit. They know sex sells, and using a young attractive woman as their spokesperson will allow them to reach a larger audience. It's only objectification when men do it, you see. These feminists are not only easily identified by their youth and relative physical beauty, but also their complete lack of original concepts or ideas. When engaging with this type of feminist, you will not hear them say anything you haven't heard 100 times before using the exact same words from other feminists. This is because they are simply regurgitating what they've been taught from the age of 5 until the present day by their leftist teachers and professors. The public school system isn't designed to encourage critical thinking, but memorization and regurgitation, and these feminists were straight-A students. They have no experience living in the real world, and for all they know, the real world works just like school does. After all, they would have nothing else to compare it to, so why would they think otherwise? These feminists have adapted to the environment they've been marinating in for almost 20 years. In leftist public education and academia, they've mimicked the behaviors that they perceive lead to success. Their feminist professors are their role models because that's the only world they know. So how do you deal with them? Well, ironically, these are the only feminists that will engage you in an honest debate and actually consider your points. They actually believe they're right, and they don't fear a debate because they've been brainwashed by feminist propaganda. They might be swayed by things like objective statistics or studies that disprove feminist theory. They might condemn the radical behavior of other feminists advocating for the murder of men or other forms of obvious sexism and bigotry. However, they are just as likely to dismiss your sources as biased or invalid because their professor said so. However, here's why debating with these young liberal arts major feminists is ultimately pointless. The truth is, you don't have to do anything to change these women's minds because it will change on its own. Much like the conservative pastor's daughter that becomes a complete slut as soon as she goes to college and doesn't have her parents around anymore to judge her, these young feminists will soon enter the real world and see with their own eyes that feminism does not benefit them and in fact hurts them. Why does it hurt them? Because they're attractive. They don't need the government taking men's resources in the form of taxes in order to give it to them, because they could do much better by going directly to men who will give her their resources voluntarily. This relationship in turn hurts this particular woman because the more resources taken from these men vying for her affection and given to other women means less resources for her to take for herself. This is why married women vote Republican in the US while single women vote Democrat. A married woman sees taxes as hurting her and her family, while a single woman sees taxes as helping her at the expense of men she doesn't know or care about. You may notice that you rarely see attractive feminists older than 25, and this is why. Once out of the indoctrination centers of public schools and academia, they realize they don't need feminism because they are physically attractive. They may also realize that feminist anti-male agenda may actually cause them to become less attractive to desirable men. And so, after coming to this realization, she may simply drop out of the feminist scene altogether, or may even come to the dark side and become an anti-feminist. That's all for this video. Next time we'll examine the second phase of feminists, the professional victim. See you then.